sports. It's in the game.
Hey fantastic people, welcome back to Fantastic Gaming, and you can see we have in front of us the F1 2021 game. This isn't the full game yet because it was still downloading, but this is like the preview you get when it's like 20% downloaded and you can play a Grand Prix. And yeah, I'm so excited. I can't tell you how excited I was filming this. I mean, I was literally on the edge of my seat. And yeah, this game looks amazing for what I've seen so far. Already it looks really great. You can see these are all the cars and everything. The graphics are completely new. It looks really good. It's a huge step up from F1 2020. And yeah, now getting into the race that we're actually gonna do, we're gonna be racing as Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari. You can see these are new race style settings. This whole menu before you go into race is completely new. It looks really clean and it's really easy to understand. You can see we're gonna go for a full qualifying actually, because I want to go for a full qualifying. I want to get time to get used to the track, and a medium race, which is a 25% race. So they've changed the settings this way to make it more customizable for people who are new to the game. And yeah, I can't wait to get into qualifying. I can't wait to get into this race, and I can't wait to see how the game is, how the car handles, and whether it's changed significantly or whether it's changed as significantly as some other content creators have been saying. As you just saw, there are new animations in the game. So some of the animations in the game, like when you're in the garage, they're completely new. And yeah, I think these are minor details I'm noticing, but there are much bigger details. First of all, the setup, the default setup is now 8 wings, which I didn't understand why at the time, but as I played a few more races, I realized why the default setup has changed.
Okay, we'll alter the setup of the car.
I went with the 6 wings, which I usually go with on the F1 game, which I used to go with on F1 2020. And as you heard earlier, I changed the setup because it's a custom setup. So I got that radio from Jeff, which you usually don't get, which I haven't heard before in F1 2020. So yeah, these are small things. And also the setup, that's quite a big thing actually, that affects your race a lot. And as you can see, I am doing the custom camera settings and the custom button mapping and everything on the controller, on the custom controller mapping. I did all of those custom settings during this race pretty much, because that's when I started playing the game, and then I realized, yeah, I need to change some settings. And yeah, you can see I'm still getting used to how the car goes. I'm still just taking it slow right now, because this is the outlap, and you can see I completely outbrake myself. And this is a problem I face a lot during this video, recording this video. It's the brakes, because I've decided that I'm gonna learn this game without ABS. I'm not gonna use ABS on this game at all. So yeah, that's a hard learning process, because it's definitely more difficult, especially because it's a new game. But as I did on F1 2020, I probably will learn how to use the brakes and how to manage my braking over time. But yeah, on this outlap, I'm just completely struggling, locking up all over the place. There were a lot of lockups, and you can see down this main straight, I noticed that my camera was not in the center, so I needed to change that, which is exactly what I did. I centralized it. Now it's fine, but earlier you could see that now that the whole MFD is in the middle, it's supposed to be in line with your steering wheel, and I noticed that it wasn't in line with my steering wheel. So yeah, that's why I changed the camera settings. And now as I go into my first qualifying lap, I'm gonna let you guys hear the raw engine sounds of the new engine sounds on the F1 game. So there you guys could hear the whine of the turbo, which is a huge thing that they've added. It was never there in F1 games before, but you can clearly hear in real life that the F1 2021 cars, from their onboard engine sounds, that there is a whine of the turbo, and they've added that in the F1 game, which I think it's a really good thing. I think it really adds a new sense of realism. And you can see we're still struggling with lockups. We're still struggling to hit the apex properly and get the exit right. So yeah, maybe I messed up on the setup. Maybe I should have gone for a higher downforce setup. But yeah, I think it's mainly because I'm still just getting used to the game, still getting used to the handling of the car, because the handling model has definitely changed. I feel like the car has a lot less grip than it did on F1 2020. The tires are not as crazy grippy anymore. You know, you have to be very careful on the tires. You have to get your technique right. You have to get your braking right. So yeah, it requires a lot more skill. And you can see that we're literally pushing Russell through the final corner, and we come across the line for our qualifying lap. This is the second qualifying lap, and it's still pretty bad. So both the first and the second qualifying laps were not good at all. And yeah, so I was struggling a lot more on pace than I expected. I did not expect to struggle this much on pace. I'm literally seconds behind where I should be, and I'm showing you this animation for the flying lap because for some reason on the steering wheel the toggles are not showing. I think it's because this is still like the preview kind of thing before the full game downloads, but yeah, the toggles were not showing at all, which was very, very strange. And there's something about the colors in this recording that's actually really nice. The colors are they're really bright. They pop a lot more. That's because of HDR. So, you know, video output and recording, the colors are much better. The only problem is with the green color, it's that with the green color it's so bright you can't see the white characters on the screen. But yeah, you can see we got a huge load of understeer and we got a huge amount of oversteer and crash into the wall. Oh my goodness, that was a huge crash. We just crashed into. I did not expect that, or I really did not. I mean, usually it's way easier to catch that. You can see I did flashback that because, you know, it's my first session. I'm a lot more lenient on myself, so I did flashback that. I completed the lap. It didn't matter though. We only qualified P16. It was still a really terrible lap. I mean, we're still way off the pace. And yeah, with 30 seconds to go, I am gonna go for one final lap. I really shouldn't have to do this in Q1. I don't know why I'm struggling so much, but yeah, this is actually my still on my second set of soft tires, and we spun around. We've literally spun on the turn 1 curb. Again, I flashback that. It's just my first qualifying session. I don't do this in the race at all. But yeah, I was very surprised by the lack of traction and how 3D the curbs are. Yeah, this is something hugely significant. The curbs are so much more 3D, so much more bumpy, and you can see through here. Again, this is what I was talking about. The curbs, they're so 3D, and we crash in the wall. The car goes sideways. The car literally goes sideways. That is a massive impact just from the curbs. I mean, I really did not expect that at all. That's what I'm talking about. The curbs are really 3D. They're really big, and I just retired from the session. That lap wasn't going to be any better anyways. And yeah, it was a difficult qualifying session to say the least. And you can see there's new animation for the retirement, and these post-session animations are just so much more realistic. I'm really happy about this. I'm really happy that Codemasters have made this so much more realistic. It's a lot more like it is in real life, and yeah, it gives a much more, you know, cleaner experience. It's a better gaming experience because I feel like it's more, you know, easy to go through. It's more easy on the eyes, and you can see that menu before the race. That's definitely much better than the old menu that used to be there at the workstation, I think. So yeah, it's a really nice menu. The game really looks good, and the starting grid graphics, this is literally the real life starting grid graphics. Obviously the pictures of the drivers are animated because, you know, it's a game, they wouldn't put the actual pictures. But yeah, this is really good. I'm really happy about how realistic it is and how the graphics look so much more realistic and give a better experience for people viewing gameplay of it and people actually playing the game. Both of them get a more realistic experience. So yeah, I think it's really good. Obviously the colors pop even more because of HDR. It wasn't actually as bright when I was actually playing the game. But yeah, we're going to be starting with P17. It's quite unusual to see a Ferrari start that low down the grid, but yeah, I mean, we just weren't able to get a good quality session, and we weren't able to put a good lap together. But hopefully we can do better in the race. You can see that the strategy for some reason is balanced, which is not what I want to do. First of all, I don't think that's a good strategy. Second of all, I think our tires, my driving style, it definitely wears out the tires a lot, so I won't be able to do 7 laps on each tire. I'll have to do 6 laps on the softs and 8 laps on the mediums like I usually do on F1 2020. But yeah, we're gonna go go to 5 red lights now for the very first race on F1 2021, and it's lights out and away we go. You can see we get a great getaway. We use overtake mode. We're past 1, 2, 3 cars now. That was a really good start. We're using the slipstream of Esteban Ocon, a little bit of lag there, and down the inside into turn 1, both me and Ocon make huge dive bombs. We're up in a P6 already. That is insane. Gain 10 positions in just one corner, and now we get a great exit out of turn 3. We're using the slipstream and overtake mode. I'm gonna try and get past Ricardo, and you can see under braking, these guys were so slow. Ricardo and Hamilton were so slow. We had to swerve to avoid them. I don't know why we got a collision warning. We didn't even make contact. You can see from the replay cameras we didn't make contact, but this is the start with the brand new replay camera graphics. I really love these graphics. I think they've done really well. I think Codemasters and EA, they've absolutely nailed the graphics of this game with the leaderboard and everything. But yeah, this is our start. This is a huge dive bomb we make. I feel kind of bad for Ocon. He kind of gets squeezed onto the curb. He has nowhere to go there, but yeah, he still gains a few positions, so that's a good thing. But you can see we got that great exit. We used the slipstream, and then this is a crazy incident where we had to swerve to avoid the 2 cars. That was very, very close. We did not make contact, but we still got a warning for it. It doesn't really matter anyways. But yeah, here we are now. We're chasing after Perez. We are nearly up into the podium places. This is absolutely insane. I haven't even got a good a start like this in F1 2020, and in F1 2021, in a game in which I'm actually struggling quite a lot, we've done this well, and I'm really, really surprised, and I'm really happy about it. Now I just wanna continue this charge, try and gain some more positions. Hopefully I can get used to the braking a little bit more, get used to the car a little bit more. But yeah, you can see that we're still not done yet. We're still not secured in P4 because Daniel Ricciardo tries to go for a dive bomb. We make a bit of contact there as well. It was very, very close, but yeah, he actually went on the curb and he lost a little bit of control of his car, which is why we banged wheels a little bit. But yeah, that's okay. I think the AI really couldn't have done anything about that, but he tries to go around the outside. We defend the inside line. We squeeze him to the edge of the track, which is very aggressive, but that's just my driving style. I'm very aggressive against the AI in terms of overtaking. You can see he actually had a good run, but then he went onto the curb because we were trying to take the racing line. If we would have slowed down, we would have 100% lost our position. So yeah, I just stuck to the racing line and didn't concede the position. You can see Hamilton now, he's trying to get back past Daniel Ricciardo. I'm pretty sure Hamilton qualified really far up the grid. I think he was in pole position or something. I don't know why, but he's lost a lot of positions at the start. But you can see the McLarens now are battling with Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton is not attacking Ricciardo anymore. He is getting attacked by Lando Norris. So the other McLaren is trying to make a move, and Esteban Ocon down the inside gets past both Norris and Hamilton and nearly gets past Ricciardo. You can see Hamilton and Norris are still battling, but so are Esteban Ocon and Daniel Ricciardo, because the slipstream is so powerful in this game. Down the straight you can make some crazy moves. But yeah, there's Hamilton. He secures his position. It's been quite a long battle. I think it was an entire sector long, but yeah, Hamilton manages to stay ahead of Lando Norris. We're coming to a few corners later now, and the gap behind has gotten really, really large. I mean, Daniel Ricciardo, he's nearly a second behind. Obviously he's gaining a lot of time on the straights because we didn't get a good exit out of that double left-hander, but I think you guys might have seen earlier at the end of lap number 1, we got a really good exit out of the final corner and built a gap, and then Ricciardo started battling with other cars, so he lost time there. But now he's gained that time back. You can see we ride the curb a lot and we're just not really confident with the car. We're doing okay, but still the McLaren is gaining time, so that's why we have to be very careful. Now that DRS is enabled, Ricciardo's well within 1 second. He has our DRS, which means we have to be super careful. And yeah, for some reason my recording cut that corner for some reason. I don't know why, but yeah, this is my weakest point, my Achilles heel, this S section. As you're gonna see in future videos, S sections are really a problem for me on this game. But yeah, that S section, we really lost time. And then this hairpin, we just took it terribly because we rode the curb, and Ricciardo tries to go for a move around the outside, and he goes on the curb and he goes off track and he loses a bunch of positions. I have no idea what happened there, but you can see from the offboard camera, we can see that he got onto the curb and then he just went wide, and now he has to wait for other cars to pass so that he can rejoin the track safely. But I think he must have locked up or something, or he must have gotten his braking wrong, so he went for that risky move around the outside with a double left-hander, and it did not work out for him, as we can see, as we saw. But yeah, that's a new AI mistake. I've never seen that AI mistake before, so yeah, that's completely new in the F1 2021 game, which I think is a really great thing. But you you can see we're making mistakes as well as we ran wide at that corner. Ocon, he fakes it right, goes to the left around the outside. You can see at the final corner we rode the curb. However, we didn't have enough control on our car. We pushed Ocon wide and let Hamilton slip through. You can see this is the replay of that. We were being very aggressive, so Ocon switched to the left hand side of the track. He went around the outside, and yeah, we just went on the curb. There's nothing I could do about that, going on the curb. And yeah, we just squeezed Ocon because you can see the AI, they can't afford for some reason to go off the track a little bit. It's like it just doesn't happen. It's unrealistic and it loses them time. But right now we're losing time to Hamilton because he just flies past with DRS. I don't know how he had so much pace. And as we go to turn 1, Norris makes a huge dive bomb and we're getting pushed around on the track. What is happening?
The side pods have taken damage. You may start to pick up a little drag.
So you can see that crazy dive bomb from now there's a safety car. Oh my goodness, it's only lap 4 and there's already a safety car and Mazepin is out of the session. I don't know what is happening, but yeah, you can see Norris's crazy dive bomb. Somehow it caused a side pod damage. Actually, I think that incident with Ocon might have caused a side pod damage instead. But yeah, it didn't show up on the MFD, but I think we might have some damage. It might lose us some downforce. But yeah, that incident with Ocon, I think I would either call that a racing incident or I would call it his fault, because I mean, he should have pulled out of that. He can see I'm going for the apex, and yeah, he wasn't alongside me enough, and there's a huge pile up, and I think that's why Mazepin is out of the session, because it was like a Constantina effect, and he didn't really have anywhere to go. So that, yeah, that's why he crashed out. You can see this is a better view because the leaderboard is gone now. But yeah, I feel like he could have avoided that as well though. But yeah, this I think someone hit him from behind. So yeah, Ricciardo hit Mazepin from behind after Mazepin crashed. So not good at all for Ricciardo. But yeah, that was crazy. That was absolutely insane. Everything was going crazy. And yeah, it's only lap 4, and you can see on the MFD we've gotten the new strategy option. We're definitely coming in. I think this is the right time to come into the pits. But yeah, I mean, our tires are not that worn out, but I definitely think it's the right time to come into pits. And now I'm going to be ending this video because I don't want to make it too long. We still have a long race left. So I am going to cover that in part 2 of this video. As you can see from the title, this is just part 1. In part 2 of this video, we're going to be continuing with the rest of the race. We're going to do the last 10 laps. And we're going to see what's going to happen. And yeah, this race has been absolutely insane. It's been a great race so far. I mean, I really enjoyed filming this race, filming this video. Yeah, there's lots of more F1 2021 content coming. There's 2 videos coming in quick succession. There's part 2 and the 2021 British GP Last to First Challenge. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for those. This is F1NTASTIC Gaming.